yesterday, President Trump was in Allentown, Pennsylvania. He was visiting a place that makes medical equipment in Allentown, and he didn't wear a mask. He decided that wasn't a good idea, nor did Mark Meadows, but everybody else there did wear a mask. Mark Meadows is now his chief of staff, former congressman from North Carolina. And the president didn't wear a mask, but he was able, by not wearing a mask, to say something foolish, it seemed. But let's let the president speak for himself, because he was talking about healthcare workers. He was talking about what they're up against. Here's President Trump.
Healthcare warriors, and they are warriors, aren't they, when you see them going into those hospitals and they're putting the stuff that you deliver, but they're wrapping themselves and the doors are opening and they're going through the doors and they're not even ready to go through those doors. They probably shouldn't, but they can't get there fast enough, and they're running into death just like soldiers run into bullets, in a true sense. I see that with the doctors and the nurses and so many of the people that go into those hospitals. It's incredible to see. It's a beautiful thing to see.
Can you imagine, Cenk, if he was sending his soldiers into war without the proper equipment that they require for war, when you think about what these warriors are doing?
Yeah, I can't imagine it, because the Bush administration already did it. And then Rumsfeld had that infamous line, where you go to war with the army you have, not the one you wish you had, because their Humvees were not properly prepared and the IEDs were blowing up soldiers left and right. And Rumsfeld basically said, deal with it. And this is the equivalent of that, which is, in this case, instead of bullets, you have the virus, and they don't have masks. And the minute it hits your face, it's over. You got it, and then your life is in danger. So it's not a thing you should be celebrating. It's a thing that you should be saying, like, oh, my God, they're so brave, but we wish they didn't have to go through that. My God, we are working day and night to get them more masks. We're going to get billions of masks, but it's not enough. I'm going to get more. And if we have oversupply of masks, terrific. But under no circumstances am I going to have them go into a situation where they feel like they're dodging bullets. Instead of going, yeah, they're dodging bullets. It's fantastic, isn't it? And of course, by the way, the nurses union put out a statement saying, no, it's not at all fantastic. In fact, let me read it to you. Bonnie Castillo, who's their executive director at National Nurses United, said nurses signed up to care for their patients. They did not sign up to sacrifice their lives on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic. And she's absolutely right. There's no reason why doctors and nurses should have to be in a situation where they might be potentially sacrificing their lives. And by the way, already 9,000 healthcare workers have contracted coronavirus. And a lot of that is because they did not have protective equipment.
Yeah, hundreds of health workers have died from COVID. There was a throwaway line in there that I don't know if you caught, Cenk. He was talking. He said, they go in there, they do their job. They probably shouldn't, right? The president is saying they probably shouldn't go to work because he knows how bad it is. He knows what they are facing when they go in there. And yet, this administration and the preparedness of this administration, it's not saying that they have wrought this intentionally, but at this point, it seems like there's certainly been enough willful ignorance that they have not prepared for this kind of a pandemic. And we'll get to that a little bit later as well. But he's sending them in there, and he's even saying they probably shouldn't go in there.
Yeah, well, that's why 2 weeks ago there were nurse protests at 139 hospitals across the country because they're saying, how many times can you ask us to risk our lives? Just get masks. It's not that complicated. And just yesterday, Dr. Bright testified that months ago, he said, look, it's not me. And it's not even Obama, so don't worry. It's a Bush administration report that said we need, in a situation like this, exactly a situation like this, 3.5 billion masks. We only have 300 million in our reserves. So we need to order the masks right away because they're going to take time to make, to distribute, to bring here, etc. So please order the masks. And they would not do it. And it turns out one of the reasons they didn't do it is they said, well, Kushner apparently pushed this line saying if you order a lot of medical equipment, it'll spook the markets and the stock market will go down. Well, as it turned out, the stock market went down anyway because you idiots were unprepared and you risked people's lives. And last thing about that, Michael, is this guy is going around bragging about how he's risking the lives of doctors and nurses. And every time he talks like a hero, it drives me nuts because, of course, he's Commander Bone Spurs. And he got 5 deferments from Vietnam, the last one for Bone Spurs. My favorite thing is the reporter asks him, which foot was it? He's like, maybe both. I don't know. Okay, so it was obviously made up. And he ran for Vietnam. When asked about it on the Howard Stern show, he said, no, it's okay. My avoiding sexually transmitted diseases was my personal Vietnam. And I was a good and brave soldier. So he said that on a number of occasions. And so for him to be talking about soldiers and risking people's lives, especially given that context, is particularly galling.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.